So if you're anything like me, your mind is always running, always running. And I woken up at 4 this morning with ideas. And as you start beginning to do whatever you want to do in life and whatever your purpose is and your drive and passion, your mind starts running on it completely overdrive, like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's just always contemplating what's the next step. How do I get to the next level? How do I get better at this skill, right? And so my mind is constantly in this zone, and so I wake up with ideas and I'm like, I gotta write it down, right? And so my mind was kind of thinking of what is one of the most important things in trying to change who you are into becoming a new person, right? And as I develop more myself and trying to be that person I know I could be, I'm going through a lot of these changes and I'm thinking, what is it that drives us? What is it that tells us? And how do we keep track of that? And I was thinking, it's honesty, really. And not to be in a corny sense of being honest to like the world, but being honest with yourself. And I think we don't realize how important it is to be honest with ourselves, because we can tell ourselves lies all day. We can make excuses all day. And if we are allowing ourselves to lie to ourselves, then we are just eroding our self-esteem, for one, but we are constantly just halting our progress in anywhere we're trying to go. So for example, let's say you're trying to get in shape and you are lying to yourself saying, I'm giving it my best, and you know that you aren't. Let's say you're only putting in 20 minutes a day, or you're only working out 3 days a week, and you're like, I'm giving it my best, right? I did my best. But deep down, you really know that you aren't. And you can tell, like we all know the things that we're lying to ourselves. I did it for years, and I'm sure you have too. And it's like these lies that we, like, as over time we get better and better at just deceiving ourselves. And I think when you have true confidence in yourself, that is when you stop lying to yourself. And I think that's why you see people with social anxiety, as myself, and having depression, and I think a lot of the things that we battle mentally come from the lies that we're telling ourselves. And so I was thinking, like, every day I get up and I look in the mirror and I say, am I doing better? Am I getting better? Right? Because when we're trying to grow into a new identity, we're trying to be a new person, right? And try to get rid of all those old habits, trying to get rid of that person that we used to be, because that person is not us anymore. And as you realize, when you start growing, you realize that person isn't you. And then you start seeing new habits and new, like, skills that you never thought that you could ever obtain. And you're like, whoa, I don't even recognize myself anymore. And you realize, like, holy shit, like, that old me was just a set of habits. It wasn't even that wasn't who I was. I wasn't shy and socially anxious and awkward and all these things. I was just a person of habits that was behaving that way. And my mind created this identity that I was a depressed, socially anxious, a drug-addicted person. That was just it. My mind had made this up, right? So as we create a new identity and we create new habits, and for myself, I look in the mirror and I'm like, am I getting better today? Did I just a little bit better? And I'm not asking, like, change your entire life program, right? But did I do something differently, right? And I thought about it. If you just change 1% every day, 1%, like waking up 2 minutes earlier, 1 minute earlier, or working out 1 minute more every day. And I mean, it's not that hard, really. It's not. And then think about in 1 year where you could be. In 1 year, you cut, let's say, just one donut out, or whatever it is, whatever your vice is. We all have a vice, right? And some of us have multiple vices, like myself. And as I begin to cut those away, it's like, it's crazy because they hold less power against me. And I think you have to first create that identity of who you want to be, right? You have to know the person that you want to become, right? And in the beginning, I think it's hard because you think that this person that you are right now, this whatever it is that's just who you are. And once you create this new identity, it's like that what is that person's set of skills and habits? What is that person that I want to be? What is he look like, right? Is he wake up early? Does he go to the gym? Does he read? Does he write? Does he do this, right? And so as you begin to develop that and you start to visualize that in our minds, we start to build those new habits because we visualize ourselves as that person. And so those old habits that we had, like maybe not having discipline, not going to the gym, overeating whenever you want, going out and drinking with friends, whatever, it's like they don't hold any power over you anymore. So I was thinking is like, I look in the gym or in the mirror, and I'm in the gym, I go to the gym, but I look in the mirror and I'm like, well, did I get better today? Just a little bit. And if the answer is yes, then that's enough for me to be like, okay, like, and that's where my confidence comes from. But if in a few days in a row and I'm saying no, then I'm like, okay, I need to reevaluate what's going on. Because the thing is yeah, we may grow in the beginning. Let's say you get really into the gym and you start working out every day, but then you still eat like shit. Well, you're not going to see any progress, and you probably end up going to resort back to where you were because you're going to be like, well, what the hell, what's the point of it, right? So as you begin to develop more skills, it's like you need to develop even more skills. And I think that's where the hard part gets, because you're growing and you're growing and you're growing, and then you're like, okay, well, now I need to grow in this area, and now I need to step up in this area. And as you start leveling up, you start having more challenges, right? So it's the never-ending process. It's not like I can just challenge myself and grow in this area, look in the mirror and say, okay, you've grown, I'm done, right? There is no finish line. You have to, it's a continuously thing that is just, it's just always ongoing, and you're always trying to reevaluate your progress. But I also think that's like the most fun thing about it, because when you're living in a life of progress, this is where you become fulfilled. Because you can know that like you are giving it your all. And I don't think there's no more freedom than that. And people say having discipline is not free, but well, it is, because when you start doing that, it's like I have the freedom to be whoever the hell I want to be. It's just a matter of putting in the work and getting there, because who knows what you're capable of doing if you can just keep going, right? Keep fucking going, and you don't know who you can become. And that's the idea, is when you see someone who was like in a bad place, like a lot of successful people, you see them, they weren't born that way. And some reason our freaking minds try to tell us that for some reason that this person just had these set of skills and he was super confident and super outgoing and he was just had this magic, right? It's not true. And our minds just screw us because they do that to keep us in the comfort zone, to keep us comfortable, and to keep us from developing and to keep progressing. So I think that it's really, it becomes exciting in your life. And I mean, taking it from me for years of never growing and never challenging myself and just basically trying to change external things in my environment, like moving to San Diego, moving to LA, trying to become a therapist, trying to become a personal trainer, trying to start a water softener business, to trying to start a Weathermade business, to trying to start a men's shorts business, to trying to start an Amazon business. Like literally those were all external things. They weren't anything that had to do with me. It wasn't like I need discipline in my life. I need to meditate. I need to create a better mindset. I need to focus on solutions instead of the problem. I need to be mindful and aware of who I'm around and the thoughts that are going on in my mind. Like those are things that are the most important, not the external things. And the external things are easy. Like shit, anyone could move to a new city, but hey, you want to try to create a new mindset? You want to basically sit down and look at all your flaws and be like, I need to work internally. And the number one thing I realized is that these people that made it, they all started with the internal. It was the change. And it's like anyone can change their life if they decide that they want to change inside. That's basically the whole point of personal development. And if you understand that, then you understand that you could become anyone you want to be. And I think we make it so much more complicated than it really is. But the change of your life is all dependent on the change of you. So changing your habits, changing your friends, changing how you think, changing where you go, changing like when you wake up. I mean, it's just everything needs to change, but you got to start at one point and start working constantly every freaking day. And it becomes challenging, yeah, and it hurts and it's freaking alone, but you know what, like, that gives you the freedom to become who you want to be. You don't have any idea what you can become. You don't know what you're capable of becoming. And just seeing myself and the way I progressed in just my first videos, and now I'm progressing now, and I can talk with more fluidity, and I'm just being myself and more genuine, authentic, because I'm being comfortable who I am, and I see myself growing, and I don't know where the ending is. And if you look at the first videos of mine, you could be like, yeah, he is progressing. And I look at him and I'm like, I am. Like, you can't deny that. And I can't, like, I could try to find ways to say, oh, you can do better in these areas. Yeah, obviously, but am I growing? Yes. And that's all that fucking matters. So I just thought that I woke up and was thinking that, and it's like, just look in the mirror, ask yourself, am I growing in some form? Right? It could be so little. We don't, especially if you're like me and you spent years with such horrible habits, like, it's going to take some time. You're not going to be freaking waking up at 3:30 and doing a marathon and then just like only eating 1,500 calories and have a business and all this stuff. Like, you got to start someplace, but just start small and keep working your way towards that vision. But the one thing that I realized, you need a vision of who you want to be or where you want to go. You need that vision. What does that person look like that you want to become? What are his habits? Who does he hang out with? Where does he go? What does he read? What does he do? You need to know who that person is, because when you visualize that, it allows you to know where you are going. It allows you to redirect. It allows you to reevaluate and have some sort of like compass, some sort of internal guidance system, right? And if you are aware and you do rely on that, then you will have a good understanding, like, oh shit, I'm going down the wrong road, because that person who I want to become doesn't go out drinking with his friends. That person that I want to become doesn't go out freaking to do all this other shit that is not in line with what I want to become. Like, we have to reevaluate. So I just wanted to make that point across, because that's something that I have learned as I'm developing, and I hope that you guys are developing and growing with me, as this is a journey that I think everyone should be on. And once you start on it, it's like you can't stop, because you start seeing the growth that you have, and you start becoming a person that you don't even recognize in such a freaking amazing way. Why would you want to stop that? You don't. So I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you tune in to more, and I'm going to keep making more like this. So I'll see you guys in the next one.